on digital radio, on the app, on your smart speaker, on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch.tv, and Facebook. The Sportscast. Football in January.
The update presented by the Sportscast.
The Sportscast, January 22nd, 2024. If you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels: YouTube, Twitch, X, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can also listen to us on your smart speaker. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. Also, we are also on online radio. You can listen to us there. And, of course, you can visit our website, thesportscast.net, or you could download our app, the Sportscast for iOS. The most exciting weekend in the NFL playoffs, the NFL Divisional playoffs, was a stunner. It was great. It met expectations. Only one road team won. And joining me to talk, to discuss, to mesh out, to iron out everything, Dan Madden from Northeast Ohio. Welcome back to the Sportscast.
Yeah, good to be back. Yeah, it was a great weekend for some good games, I think, as expected. So for sure.
It met my expectations. I would say a couple games, which we'll get more into detail, but the teams that had a bye week or had 2 weeks off, actually, they had some rust, but they showed up in the second half a little bit stronger, and they get the momentum, which is a good sign, because when they get into championships Sunday, they'll be way more they will be way more prepared.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, it took them a little while, particularly Baltimore to get going in the second half. So hopefully, moving forward, they're going to have to play a whole 4 quarters instead of a half for sure.
Exactly. Before we start, how is the weather up there doing?
Yeah, a little chilly, a little snowy. We got about 3 or 4 inches of snow over the weekend, so it was fun time sled riding with the kids and having a good old snowball fight. So it was a fun weekend for that.
You can do it in the month of January. Anyways, before we start our recap of the NFL Divisional Playoffs 2024, we got a word from our sponsors. Are you ready to accelerate your wealth and secure your family's legacy? Introducing VictorRocho.com, your cash acceleration insurance expert. At VictorRocho.com, we bring accountability to wealth creation inspired by Proverbs 13:22. Your family's financial future matters to us. Experience the power of debt-free life, our innovative insurance solution that not only protects but builds cash value over time. As your cash value grows, say goodbye to debt incrementally and watch your savings soar for a worry-free retirement, all without spending any extra money. With debt-free life, you're not just securing your future, you are creating a lasting legacy for your family, achieving financial freedom and retiring with tax-favored income. Visit VictorRocho.com for more information. That's VictorRocho.com, where accountability meets prosperity. Your greatest asset is you. Your greatest asset is you. Visit RictorArocho.com for your financial wealth needs, wealth manager. Of course, you probably recognize Victor Arocho from the Jersey Boys Sports Talk, which you can hear this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And he'll be talking a little bit more on the Giants, what's going on, the hiring freezes. Is there any news on the coaching? Because I do know the Chargers and the Falcons are getting ahead. Well, actually, hold on. There's one coaching news. Antonio Pierce has been hired full-time from interim to permanent manager. Coach.
Yeah, I think that was expected with Pierce. You know, he was a player favorite. You know, really boosted the morale in the locker room and really won some games and got their season turned around. So I think that was expected. Glad they made that happen. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's kind of a quiet right now. You know, you would think that with Belichick in particular, you know, he's been interviewing. He's got a second interview with the Falcons, and there's really nothing happening there.
Also, Jim Harbaugh got his interview
Yeah,
number 2 with
second
the Falcons
interview.
too.
Exactly. So it's interesting, you know, how long it's taken. I think we'll probably within the next week or so, I would think that we'd be hearing some answers on those 2 openings and what's going on there.
Sean McDermott, head coach of the Buffalo Bills. I've been hearing conversations that he should get rid of. Do you think? We'll get into the recap, but do you think he should be?
I think definitely it should be in question. Just you know, just losing so many times in the playoffs, particularly to the Chiefs. Just some of the play calls. You know, it needs to be questioned. In particular, that Belichick's available. I mean, you think if he would go there to the Bills, I mean, they would. I think it would bring them to. I think it's something you need to
AFC Championship contenders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think
or Super Bowl contenders.
Being he's available. No, I think they bring him to the next level to be Super Bowl contenders. You know, I mean, to have Allen with Belichick, I mean, that's his Brady 2.0 right there. I mean, that would be a different story.
It would be, and the reason why we're talking about it because you'll know. We'll get into the recap. Anyways, Dan, are you ready to recap this NFL divisional playoffs, baby?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go. The first game on Saturday. There was some hope there for the Texans, but no. The Ravens beat the Texans 34-10. The Ravens scored the first on a 53-yard field goal by Justin Tucker. But the Texans tied the game 10-10 at the end of the first quarter. I heard you were considering Texans might win this game.
Yeah.
But not really. The Ravens struggled to move the ball. Was it rust and protect quarterback Lamar Jackson in the second half? But Jackson's 2 touchdown passes and 2 running scores helped the Ravens win, Dan.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a little rust there. I mean, a good game, 10-10. It was kind of going back and forth, but they really just took it over in the second half. Stroud struggled a little bit, you know, ended up with 175 yards, but just didn't make the big chunk plays that they needed. And they really just couldn't stop the Ravens. They couldn't get off the field, you know, to slow them down. So, yeah, I thought it was going to be a little closer. You see Stroud the second half of the year always battling back, and just didn't happen in this game.
Jackson made some history Saturday because he always makes history, becoming the first quarterback since 1948. You and I, Dan, were not alive in the regular season or playoff with at least 2 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown runs, 100 yards rushing, and 100 passer rating in the same game. Dan, have you ever seen that before?
No, he's a special talent. I mean, that's why he got all that money. You know, I think he's worth it now, right?
And guess what? All these teams that were not, you know, talking to Lamar, hey, well, what you part of the team? They're probably hitting their heads right now.
Exactly. Yep.
Anyways, let's see what happens. Let's go to the next game. Of course, was in San Francisco. This game was definitely looked at by a lot of people. Justin Love, you know, like what a character. He's a great guy, but not enough. The Niners defeated the Packers 24-21. It was a close game. I never seen San Francisco coming from behind. Christian McCaffrey had a 69-yard drive capped off the game-winning touchdown with 1 minute 7 seconds remaining on the clock. The Packers outplayed the 49ers, Dan, believe it or not, for most of the game.
Yeah.
With the show against the Cowboys, they did show glimpses against the Niners. The Packers scored 6 points in the first half on 3 red zone trips. The Packers went 3 and out, missed a field goal, and had a turnover on 3 fourth quarter possessions. Andrew Scarfield and Greg Grandma. It was a struggle for San Francisco, Dan, but they pulled it out.
It was, you know, really, Green Bay really should have won this game. I mean, they dominated for most of the game. I mean, going up and down the field, and they just couldn't punch it in the end zone. I mean, you can't settle for 3 points when you get down there. You gotta get 6, and they weren't able to do that. And, you know, gave the 49ers a chance there at the end. McCaffrey kind of took it over there, explosive runner that they have. So, yeah, I think a little rust for the 49ers. Purdy struggled a little bit throwing the ball. I'm sure the weather had effect on that. So we'll see. Going to have to play a little bit better next week.
As Dan mentioned, it was rainy in San Francisco in the Bay Area. Purdy threw for 252 yards and a touchdown. And like Dan said, McCaffrey rushed for 98 yards and 17 carries. It felt like they depended on a lot of McCaffrey. Aaron Jones, free Aaron Jones, finished with 108 yards on 18 carries for the Packers. And Love was 21 of 34 for 194 yards for the Packers, who overcame a 2-5 start to the season to make it this far. Dan, what would you say about Jordan Love's performance for the Packers so far in his career?
No, I think he resurrected. I mean, I think he's a true franchise quarterback, and I think I'm reading that he's going to probably be one of the highest players in the league with this new contract. I think they're going to make him the franchise guy there in Green Bay, and I think he's earned that the last half of the season.
Who would have thought that tradition? Brett Favre,
exactly.
Aaron Rodgers sitting for 4 years behind Brett Favre, Jordan Love sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 to 4 years is working out for the Packers. This pattern, I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm a little salty because the Packers were able to manage to get 3 franchise quarterbacks, and the Browns are just trying to find one. So it's a struggle.
And we'll discuss what's going to happen with the Browns later in the show. What's going to happen there with the quarterback situation. Let's go a little bit up north to Detroit. Detroit Lions won with 3 touchdowns in the second half. And quarterback Jared Goff, unsung hero, threw for 287 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Running back Jamar Gibbs, star of the show, also scored a touchdown and gained 144 yards with the Lions' victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 31-23. Dan, this story is unbelievable. I'm not sure how long it will last, but your thoughts over this matchup?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. It's good to see the Lions winning. I mean, we share the bottom of the basement with them as a Browns fan. A good thing. It's good to see that they're rising up a little bit. And they had a good game. Goff 30 for 43, 287 yards. St. Brown's a dynamic receiver. That's his go-to. So I think they're going to give the Niners a game, and I really think that they could pull it off. Baker struggled in this game. Well, at the end anyway. He played pretty decent, but just threw that pick at the end and sealed the deal.
Yeah, as Dan said, Baker Mayfield threw for 3 touchdown passes for the Bucs, including in a 16-yard toss to Mike Evans. The Bucs got within 1 score with 4 minutes, 37 seconds left. But at the last play for them to go and get that tie and drive, he got picked off by Mike Evans' hands, and his late one was an ill-advised throw. What is the future for Baker Mayfield? Is he the guy in Tampa? He really displayed it. I think he should get the job. Your thoughts?
No, yeah, no question. I mean, he really kind of a redemption story for him where he's been, and I think he definitely should have the job. Maybe add some more pieces around him. But yeah, I think moving forward, they found their guy after Brady down there.
Also, a guy in question, contract in question, is Mike Evans. He did have a little bit of some back and forth with Tampa at the start of the season. I heard Baker wants Mike Evans back. Yeah. Hey, I'd love to be back here, be franchise quarterback, but can you bring Mike Evans back as well?
Yeah, no, he'd be a big key to that offense for sure, because him and Baker really got some chemistry going this year.
Good chemistry. Chris Godwin, tight end. Also, was named like Autumn, I think his name is. Otto. Mm-hmm. Very good tight end. Never heard of him until yesterday, Dan. I'm not sure if you've seen him before.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Let's go up north. This matchup is a rivalry, even though Bills have not beat the Chiefs, but this game did not disappoint. Dan saw it coming as well. Chiefs defeated the Bills 27-24. The Chiefs' victory advanced them into the AFC Championship game, but Patrick Mahomes threw for 2 touchdown passes to Travis Kelce with a heart sign to Swifty. I think it was Swifty or his brother. Yes. I cannot confirm. Yeah. And finished with 17 receptions for 215 yards, Dan, and 2 touchdowns. Poor Josh Allen finished with 258 total yards, a passing touchdown, and 2 rushing passes. What happened towards the game was Allen, I think he had a turnover, but he could not finish off. But the kicker, as well, was his fault. Could not convert that field goal towards the end. Tyler as field goal attempt was sailed on the right of the upright. So there was not much wind up, I believe. But Dan, your thoughts over this matchup, this rivalry, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, no, what's crazy is Travis Kelce had a great game, but he was outstaged by his brother Jason Kelce, who has his shirt off, chugging beers with the fans at the Bills Stadium. So
he had a tailgating party before the game too, so it was not just upstairs.
Yeah, wow. But no, this game, you kind of felt it that Kansas City was starting to come on. I mean, they were getting the ball down the field. Pacheco was back. I mean, he was running with a vengeance, running with a purpose. That helped. Kelce finally had a great game. He's been struggling the last 5 or 6 weeks. He's finished with over 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. Other receivers are catching the ball, and they gave the Bills the case of the drops. I mean, they had multiple drops in this game. Sheffield dropped one. I think Watkins, could have caught one. The Cook missed a pass. A few things that the Chiefs were doing that it kind of struck the Bills, and they really, you look at that field goal. Yeah, he should have made it, but there was plays that should have been made before that they shouldn't even have been in that position. Blame, there he is. So, but yeah,
no shame.
Yep, exactly.
Which he was rumored to retire. Apparently, he said no. That was just a rumor. I'm not. Yeah. I might come back next season.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know that was a kind of a switcherooski. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. But as Dan said, the Chiefs are in the AFC Championship game once again. Their 6th consecutive time. Dan, that's a record. That's getting Patriot a record, by the way. So there you see the chart. Chiefs at the Baltimore Ravens, Lions at the San Francisco 49ers. Dan, what do you think about championship?
So I think it's going to be the Lions and the Chiefs. I really
no way.
Yep, I'm going.
I do believe. It's funny because I was talking to Victor yesterday, and he's 0-2 picking against Mahomes, and I don't. And he told me he's not going to pick against him for the 3rd time. This matchup. Let's go a little bit more detail with the matchup. Chiefs at Ravens. Ravens. I think they've been there before, with Lamar. Chiefs has been there plenty of times. They have won on the road yesterday. They did say they did have a road playoff game when they played in the Super Bowl versus Tampa Bay, which Mahomes brought up in the press conference yesterday. But this game is it going to be similar to the Bills? Is it going to be just like a shootout?
I think it can be. I mean, I think Baltimore is going to be able to score. The question is, is this team that has been blossoming the last couple of games, the Chiefs, if they're going to be able to produce that offense? And I think they will. I mean, I think Kelce's rebounded. I think the running game, I think they're going to be able to run the ball a little bit.
Eric Pacheco was used a lot yesterday, by the way.
He was, and he just hits that hole fast. I mean, with a lot of speed and. So I think it could be, something like, 24, 31, something like that. But yeah, I think it'll definitely be a little higher scoring.
And FYI, Dan, Mark Andrews is coming back for the Ravens next week. Confirmed.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, that gives him another.
Lamar likes to throw to him, apparently.
Yeah. So that could definitely change the game for sure. I think a turnover could change it. I mean, I think, whoever can limit the turnovers for sure, because I think it's going to be a possession game. I think each team's going to be able to score. So I think if someone could get a takeaway, I think that will definitely change the outcome.
Let's rewind to to this game, Bills and Chiefs. That play where that ball rolled out of his hands and then became a touchback. Yeah. What were your thoughts? Was that the right call?
Yeah, it was the right call. It was the right call. I was reading somewhere that the NFL, there are people saying that, this rule should be looked at like almost like it's too harsh of a penalty, or to just, give the other team the ball back. So, I mean, it was a big turning point for sure. The other turning point in this game was when there's just a momentum changer when the Bills decided to do a fake punt with Hamlin and in their own territory and didn't get it. That was kind of a questionable call,
Of all people,
for
Hamlin,
sure.
huh?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't know if this is like part of a movie script or what, like to give Hamlin the ball on a fake punt, but I don't know. So,
Yeah, we'll see what happens. As Dan said, a lot of these questionable calls are usually looked at in the offseason rule changes.
mhm,
That play and also the touch push will be in talk, in conversation at least.
yeah, for sure.
And it might be one owner, hey, now just leave it and whatnot. So let's look back at the bracket. The other side, Lions in San Francisco. Lions I played at home. I'm not sure if it's a home field advantage type of thing. They do have weapons, a young team, obviously. Ramon St. Brown and Sam Laporta, and of course Jared Goff, fantastic. San Francisco, I think they needed that shakeup against Green Bay. I think Green Bay is tougher than Detroit, don't you think? It might be easier for San Francisco.
Yeah, I think it'll be probably a little easier. I just think that the way Goss playing right now, I think with St. Brown, I just think they're going to be able to pass the ball a little bit more. I think it's going to be a close game, but ultimately, I'm going with the underdog and just kind of a Cinderella story. Detroit's only about 3 hours away from me, so I'm pulling for
The Motor City,
him.
Motown back in the lineup. They say Detroit was like San Francisco, like 50 years ago, 60 years ago, with the motor, with like the car industry and everything. Now, ironically, they're going to San Francisco, which is now the new tech scene.
Mhm.
So it's quite interesting this matchup. But yep, the games are set for this weekend. I'm looking forward to it, of course, and Dan as well. I'm gonna pick. You know, I want to see Lamar winning, Dan. But I do think the Kansas City Chiefs will beat the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore.
Yeah,
I can
no,
confidently
I
say
agree
that.
with you. Yeah. I
I
I
like
just
Lamar,
yeah. No,
but
yeah, I would like to see him too. I mean, they're the old Browns, but I just think that I just can't bet against Mahomes right now. I mean, they seem to just be playing uh, well right now, and you just feel that he's going to make one extra play to get the job done.
exactly. And then at the other side, I do see San Francisco beating the Lions. San Francisco has more experience, and I think they had a wake up call when they played against Jordan Love and the Packers. So I really do feel confidently San Francisco will win. Plus, they're playing at home. I don't think it'll be raining this weekend, but
Mhm.
you just never know. But we'll for sure keep a eye out. You think Kansas City will be on the pace to catch up with the Patriots and their 7 championships?
It's possible. I mean, I think it depends,
They're at
who's
2 right
coming
now.
back.
So,
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I mean, it depends if they can keep everyone together. I mean, I don't know how much longer Kelsey's going to play. I mean, that would
which I heard
factor
rumors
in.
he might
Yeah, yeah,
retire
he
after
might.
the
Yeah,
season.
I heard that too. I mean, when you're dating a billionaire and really no need to. He's got endorsements and everything else. I mean, He's talking. I heard that he might be. Getting in the movies, like he wants to be the Rock, like in the movies. So maybe that's going to be his gig.
He does like wrestling and he
Yeah,
does like The Rock, so I don't see why not. 34 years old, tight end, really beat up.
yeah, yeah.
But hey, what a weekend of sports! What a weekend of the playoffs! The best time of the year. I say it's way more exciting than March Madness. Sorry, Ryan Krista, but I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's gonna be exciting. Too bad the Chiefs and Ravens games at 3. I wish it was like a little bit later, more prime time. I think that might be the better game.
Mhm.
But anyways, Dan, what is the best way to reach you online if people have to ask you, hey, should I eat wings or pizza this weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, Danimal2478 on X or Facebook. Just search Dan Madden.
Before we go, any news on the Browns? Stefanski
Yeah.
staying.
Yeah. Well, we knew that they fired the offensive coordinator and the running backs coach and everything, which is somewhat confusing because Stefanski called the plays. So I don't know what I guess he was an offensive coordinator in name only, but there's rumors that Flacco said he would like to come back to Cleveland. So we'll see if he gets an offer. Obviously, Watson's already been named the starter. We have that, and it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm sure he'll be rusty the first 5 games, and then we'll be like, well, what's going to happen? And then he'll probably get hurt, and that's why I kind of want Flacco to be there, so we at least have someone reliable. So hopefully they bring him back.
Yeah, correct. As I said, Browns are set with a head coaching. There's no carousel there, but there's question marks about the Bills. There's no movement today. Doesn't mean that it had to happen today, but I like to check on what's going to happen with the Bills. I think that situation is different. They missed a lot of opportunities. I think 5 playoff showings that become hail. I believe they're 2-5 in the playoffs or something. So keep an eye on Buffalo. As Dan said, there is a guy named Bill Belichick available, and that's very tempting and an opportunity because this might be Bill's last hurrah. Wherever team he picks right now to coach, that'll be it because he wants to get that 15 wins. I don't think he wants to win another Super Bowl. I don't know. People are saying that he wants to show that he can win in another team and without Tom. But do you think he really wants to win? I mean, of course, anyone wants to win a Super Bowl, but is that in his high priority list?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going for the win record, but I think it's just something to be said that, yeah, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of chatter that, who made the Patriots good? Was it Tom or, Belichick? I mean, probably a little of both, but I mean, there could be some pride there to play for to say, hey, I want to do it with, my guy or another team so I could show that, hey, it wasn't just the quarterback I had, so.
If he does want to win a Super Bowl, I think the Chargers are more.
Yes, yeah, because they got a quarterback. I mean, Falcons. I mean, you got to go get that guy. Will they trade for Fields or, maybe bring in Cousins possibly? So
yeah,
I'm sure some of those discussions are happening. Maybe that's what's taken so long. Like, hey, who are we bringing in? Falcons. Hey, I need a quarterback. What are we going to do here before I take this job? I need a commitment. Like, who's that guy? So maybe that's what's kind of the delay there.
Holding back, and then of course Jim Harbaugh getting another interview with Atlanta. So I'm sure he wants the Chargers. To be honest, if I had
I would think so.
Get into his head, I think it might be the Chargers. I think
it's either the Chargers or he's going back to Michigan. I don't think it's the Falcons.
I don't know. I don't think he. I mean, he could go back, but I don't think he wants to, or because I think there's a lot of trouble, that mess, that whole scandal situation. I think he just wants to leave it aside. Hey, I won my championship. I paid my dues. Yeah. And this time because he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, I don't believe.
Right. No. Yeah.
So he wants to get that another chip. His brother, he actually showed up to the Ravens game on Saturday.
Yeah, I saw that.
If you didn't see that.
Yep, I did.
That's awesome, right?
Yeah. It was
each
neat.
brother went into each other's games. Hopefully he'll come back this weekend. I don't know.
Yeah, I would think.
So anyways, you can reach us
in between interviews. I'm sure he'll be there.
Yep, I went to Atlanta, swing by for an interview, and come back to Baltimore a few days later. So, anyways, you can get all the gossips and rumors at thesportscast.net because we do publish that type of stuff when there's slow NFL days, which it is it's not slow, but there's always some spicy stuff going on. And of course, you can follow us on X and Instagram at the Sportscast1. A lot of draft prospects. A lot of people are coming out from college. Hey, I want to declare for the NFL. They tell me I can get first round. I can get a good gig in the NFL. And NFL teams need quarterbacks, or they need QB2 quarterbacks because this is a tough league. You need a good backup because you're not guaranteed to play all games. And I mean, Tua did it, but I don't know he can repeat it next season.
No.
That's the level game of football. Anyways, Dan, we'll see you next week to recap championship. Right. This was your